Welcome back, fight fans. In today's video, Conor McGregor posts and deletes worrisome Instagram story, and the roller coaster ride that is the UFC 303 main event takes another sharp turn. We predict the top 3 likely replacement fights if the UFC 303 main event falls through. George St. Pierre comes out of the woodwork to give his thoughts on the current pound-for-pound rankings. Tim Welch tells us that there's nothing wrong with Conor partying so hard weeks out from a scheduled big fight, and Strickland gets waterboarded for fun. We have all that and more in today's video, so don't be scared, homie. Knock out the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, and in the words of Big John McCarthy, let's get it all! It's another day, which means it's another wild turn in the crazy world of drama surrounding Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler and the UFC 303 storyline. This update has McGregor fans hitting the panic button. Let's do a quick recap, shall we? Just a week ago, Conor McGregor was all smiles online despite the controversy and questions surrounding his alleged injury. There was a lot of optimism from McGregor and the general fighting community regarding his upcoming UFC 303 main event versus Michael Chandler, which is supposedly going down on June 29th, 2024. Supposedly.
I could tell you as of last night and as of today, this morning, early afternoon, it's currently 1:10 p.m. Eastern time. I could tell you that there is great positivity that this fight is going forward.
That booking is looking less and less likely by the minute. The latest report is overwhelmingly negative, strongly hinting that the UFC was in need of a new main event option. With each fighter posting cryptic social media posts over the last couple days, it was hard to know what was actually happening with the main event. However, last night, McGregor himself posted an update, sort of, to his social media, reposting an older video of himself talking about avoiding injuries.
Yeah, I think the more resistance you train with, the less movement and the more injury. But the less resistance you train with, the more movement and the less injury. So it balances itself out. You might be going a little bit lighter, but you're in positions that you wouldn't be if everyone was tense. Everyone was trying to win every round.
Side by side to these deep philosophical training thoughts, a sad emoji and some prayer hands. How are McGregor fans viewing this post? Well, it's hard to tell since the post has actually been deleted now as an absolutely terrible sign for the UFC 303 main event. McGregor optimists will say he's just doing this for clicks, or McGregor is just looking for attention. Maybe they're right. Maybe this is all just one giant PR stunt. But here's why I think you should be a little concerned. Number one, Dana White has never, and I mean never, missed an opportunity to call the media out for their lies and speculation. He takes every opportunity he can to blast guys like Ariel Helwani and the MMA media world.
What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want. Do you have any other questions?
I do. What's going on with
I can't wait to hear this one. Who is this guy?
Give me something good, Dana.
Who are you? Who do you write for? You have any more questions for me? You want to antagonize him. You want to aggravate him and get him pissed off.
That's absolutely not.
Totally the truth. That's why I knew what your question was right when I called it, right when you picked up the microphone. You never even ask questions first. You usually hang back and wait. Ooh, you had to get that first question. You knew what you wanted to ask.
God forbid.
You want to piss him off and aggravate him. Would you have any questions about the fight?
Not right now.
Okay.
Okay, and Dana, just one for you. When you say that you're going to take care of Yoel Romero, what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate? What does that mean?
That's between me and Yoel Romero.
Well,
Thanks for asking. That's between us.
No, I know, but there is the precedent with Carlos Condit and GSP where...
Is there? There's really not a precedent. There's different scenarios and different situations.
But
Don't worry about what Yoel Romero's going to make. Me and Yoel will take care of that. And he's been tested lately? He hasn't fought anybody.
He's never lost.
He's never lost.
In his career.
Since he's come back, since the Pride days. Listen, if he was still fighting the caliber of fights from the Pride days, I wouldn't argue with you one bit.
Right.
It's been over a week with nothing but radio silence from Dana. Has he all of a sudden matured and learned how to restrain himself? Maybe, but that's very doubtful. And second, why would they need to do this sort of PR? Dana himself has said multiple times how this event is smashing all sorts of records already.
Outside of tonight as well, I wanted to say congratulations on what I assume will be the UFC's first $20 million gate with Conor's return. Is that true? Is it going to break 20 million?
Yeah, it's already way over 20 million.
Yeah.
And I found out that via multiple sources that they are reaching out to people again. They are reaching out to managers. They are reaching out to fighters. And as I reported yesterday, as potential replacements, i.e. a new fight, as backups, as someone stepping in for McGregor, or as just insurance, as a, just in case we need to know if all these things are at play. One step further. Here we are, Wednesday, 1:13. The positivity that I talked about exactly 1 week ago today is nowhere to be found. I would say this fight is very much in limbo. I would say that it's hanging on, and I would say the UFC is working very, very hard right now to figure out a plan B. Now, the plan B could be someone stepping in to fight Chandler. The plan C could be a whole new fight. If you look at the roster, if you look at who's available, if you look at the champions who have just fought or who are scheduled to fight, there aren't a ton of options. There really aren't. And we could play this exercise because, trust me, I've played it a million times. But I'm just telling you where we stand right now, and I'm telling you the God's honest truth. And you want to know why it is the truth? Go back to Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Go back to when Dustin Poirier came out and said, I'm not fighting because I wasn't happy with my deal. And then we spoke about it a little bit. Dana White was very quick to go on his social media and say that we're all a bunch of bullshitters and this isn't true. And the fight was on. Behind the scenes, as this was all going down, they fixed it. They gave him what he wanted. This has been a story that we've talked about since Monday of last week, 10 days. That hasn't happened once. Does that not give you pause? Trust me, no one on planet Earth wants to see this fight more than me. I know everyone wants to see it just as much, but I am dying to see this fight. I want nothing more than to see this fight. I want to see Conor back healthy. I want to see Michael Chandler get his payday. I want to see that big fight. I want to see it for all the fans who haven't experienced a Conor McGregor fight. A new fan base has been born over the last few years. They weren't even around for a DP3. They weren't even around for that in July of 2021. There is nothing like a McGregor fight. There is nothing like that scene. June, July, International Fight Week. It's magic. It's the biggest gate in UFC history. And it was that when tickets went on sale like this. So there ain't no part of me that is hoping that this falls through. But I'll tell you as of right now, it's pessimism. They're searching they're reaching out. They're putting out feelers. They're making offers. This is where we stand.
Did it really need the extra layer of drama? Perhaps you can say more is better, but I just can't see them doing this whole circus when it would have been really unnecessary. Now, if the UFC is forced into finding a replacement fight, whatever they land on isn't going to be received well by fans no matter what it is. There's no fight out there that could surpass or even match the hype level of a McGregor fight, which makes this an unwinnable battle for the UFC. Having said that, a BMF title fight between Max Holloway and Michael Chandler could maintain a certain level of excitement. Following his special win over Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, Holloway blossomed into an even bigger star than he already was. The biggest issue with this potential fight is that Holloway is seemingly next in line to fight Ilia Topuria for the 145-pound title, which would likely happen this summer or towards the end of the year. A fight against Chandler could throw a wrench in everything that the UFC is trying to do in that division. One reason why this potential fight makes a lot of sense is that it could be contested at a catchweight of 165 pounds, with it being for the BMF title, which isn't assigned to a specific weight category. This would make it even easier for Holloway to make weight on such a short turnaround. Chandler would also get the big fight that he's been waiting for, and while it's not the McGregor red panty night, Chandler would still get a relatively big fight that he's been waiting over a year and a half for, instead of all this preparation just going down the toilet. Another potential option is to have Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka 2 for the light heavyweight title. This option is the least likely of the two. The current light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira is currently in Australia doing a media tour. With Pereira likely out of consistent training, it's unlikely that he'll defend his title on such a short notice. And despite that, Prochazka admitted this past weekend at Octagon 58 that he's already signed a contract for his next fight and is hoping that that will be announced soon. Alex Pereira has undoubtedly become one of the biggest UFC draws and stars of the promotion. It would make a lot of sense for them to try and draft in a big name to replace what is currently a huge main event, but this seems like too late of a notice for this to become a possible reality. The least exciting of all these options is Michael Chandler versus Alexander Volkanovski. Volk has already made it clear that he would be willing to step up on late notice for a big fight. Although he wouldn't be getting the McGregor payday, he would likely be getting a bump in pay for stepping in on such short notice to save the day.
C303, you're like, hey, like this thing's kind of falling apart. So from what we understand so far, press conference got cancelled. We don't know exactly what's happening obviously with Conor McGregor, but let's say that call did come through. How tempting is that? I know October is when you want to come back, but International Fight Week main event, you and Michael Chandler potentially.
I mean, something like that, yes.
Or you, I suppose, maybe someone else.
Mate, like, I reckon, 100%. You know, I'll be.
Is it the Chandler fight for you, or is it?
I mean, just as long as it's a big fight, you know what I mean. As long as it's a big fight, I wouldn't just take any fight. You know, because like you said, that's a big deal. Save the day as well. I don't know. I feel like I love just saving the day as well. I'm just that good of a guy. I might have to save the day. I'll save the day.
Yeah. Volk admitted that after his UFC 298 loss to Ilia Topuria, he was going to take a significant amount of time off, but he could be enticed to come back if it was the right situation. This is another fight that could be contested at a catchweight, so that Volk doesn't have to make a 2-week weight cut. All of these options would make great fights on any other card, but they simply don't compare to a Conor McGregor fight, and that will be the uproar if the 35-year-old doesn't end up competing on June 29th. If you are a UFC matchmaker, which fight would you want to see have the potential of replacing the main event should it not go through? The MMA community is in a heated debate on whether Islam Makhachev or John Jones reigns supreme at the top of the UFC pound-for-pound mountain. And by MMA community, we really just mean Dana White.
The fact that John Jones is number 2 on the pound-for-pound list is fucking... It just goes to show how fucking stupid the media votes on that.
Yeah.
Then it just goes to show you that they have no fucking idea. They know nothing about this fucking sport.
Former welterweight great George St. Pierre has delivered his verdict to put the argument to bed once and for all.
Tell me what you think of Islam Makhachev. Can he fill the shoes of a George St. Pierre one day? Is it possible?
He's amazing. I think right now he's the best pound for pound right now because of his last few performances. Just amazing. An amazing showcase of heart too, because he had a bad cut on his forehead, and Poirier gave him a tough time. Push the pace to the edge, and I think that fight gonna make Makhachev even better, because these are the fight that make you grow.
If they fought 10 times, Poirier and Makhachev fought 10 times, how many times do you think Makhachev wins?
I don't know, because every fight is different and there's so many X factor. I think in terms of skill, Makhachev right now is the best fighter, but that doesn't mean if you're the best that you always win. There's a lot of other factors outside of our control that can influence the result. But I think Makhachev is the best, but even though the best can lose sometime.
Is he going to be a legend, Makhachev? Is he going to be one of the greats?
Oh, yeah. I think he's already starting to get to that status right now, because he, beating Volkanovski and now his last few performances are amazing.
What about dream matchup, Khabib versus Makhachev? Who wins?
It's hard to say. Khabib might have a more solid game in terms of positioning, in terms of ground and pound, in terms of takedown. And I say that, and I don't know none of these guys. I never trained with them. I don't know. I just say that because of my analysis on their style while I see them fight. And on the other side, I think Makhachev has a better submission game. I think he's more aggressive and more opportunistic on the submission side. But on the striking department, Khabib might have more power. He's stockier, he seems to land shot with more power. But Makhachev is longer and maybe more fluid, perhaps, yes.
Championship coach Tim Welch defends Conor McGregor's late-night partying and antics, breaking down both the recent drama surrounding McGregor's late-night partying videos and the series of sparring video clips that he's posted online. UFC champion trainer Tim Welch argued that it's okay for Conor to be letting loose so close to his return fight.
When this injury happens to fighters, they never have ever came back the same. Conor McGregor is a different breed. They're also talking, the videos coming out of Conor with his wife at the club partying, letting loose a little bit. Who knows if he's partying? He's probably having a couple drinks here and there. But when you're in a long training camp, people think you're just going to train and go sit in your room and stare at a wall and think about the fight. Sit in your room, just stare at the wall. Go to training, sit in your room, stare at the wall, think about the fight. it's okay to go let loose a little bit. Go let loose, not think about the fight. You're not gonna die because you go out and stay up past midnight one night. He's letting loose. He's Conor McGregor. He's good. Whatever happens, he's good. But that's my thoughts on the fight. We're going to find out. We'll probably do some more breakdowns the closer we get to it. I'm looking forward to it. Michael Chandler's going to bring it. He's explosive, Division I wrestler, and he's training at a really good gym. Going against Conor McGregor. Both these guys 1-3 in their last 4, so it's a super even matchup.
Here's one for you. Sean Strickland gets waterboarded for fun. Sean took to Twitter and posted this video saying, "When I was a kid, I thought I wanted to know what waterboarding feels like. It can't be that bad. I can tell you right now, it's one of the most things I've ever experienced, LOL." Now let's take a look at the top 3 comments left on yesterday's video. At Franklin Hicks says, "No one wants Adesanya to have the belt. He hasn't earned another shot." The Otis Duncan says, "Michael Venom Page looks like Chad Ochocinco Johnson." You know what, Otis Duncan? I have never seen that before, and now I don't think I can ever unsee it. And at Amphithesaur came through with the joke that I don't think Izzy's gonna ever let down, and you guys were very vocal about in the comments. He said, "The only thing Izzy is touching is his dog." Yikes. If you want your comments highlighted on tomorrow's video, simply comment down below. We'll highlight the top best comments, good, bad, or indifferent, and feature them in tomorrow's video. And that does it for today's video, but make sure you're liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and clicking the bell notification so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And in case you missed it, check out yesterday's news.